Hey guys, welcome to day 6 of our Shooting for Silver in 7 challenge. I'm Stephanie Huffman, a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I'm here to talk to you today about follow-up and the importance of follow-up in our Plexus business. This is really key, and you've probably, if you've been around Plexus for long, you may have heard the phrase, the fortune is in the follow-up, and I could not agree with that anymore. It's so true. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. First, let me read to you some statistics about follow-up. This is so interesting. 48% of people never make a follow-up contact. 48%. Y'all, that's huge. 25% of people only make the second follow-up. 10% of people only make the third follow-up. Okay, so 48% of people never follow up. 25% of people will make as many as 2 follow-ups. 10% of people will reach that third follow-up and then they quit. But watch this. 80% of sales are done. 80% of sales are made between the 5th and the 12th follow-up. This is huge, you guys. What does that tell me? Those 10% of people that stop after the third follow-up, they're missing it. We're missing it, guys. You've got to follow up, and you have to understand statistics don't lie. They're telling us the pattern. And so the pattern is that 80% of sales are done between the 5th and the 12th follow-up. So if you are one of those people that you don't follow up at all, maybe you make a second or third attempt and then you quit, you decide it's not worth it anymore, you're missing out in your Plexus business. So it's huge. Follow-up is a big deal. So let's talk about what if we stop too soon? Whose life are we going to miss out on having an effect on? Why do we stop? Why do we not follow up? In most cases, it's fear. Fear of what's going to happen. What are they going to say? Are they going to reject me? Let me explain to you, they're not rejecting you. Remember what Suzanne said yesterday in our day 5 challenge. She talked about serving up her most favorite dessert at her party at her house the other night, and several people, a few people, were not interested, and they told her no. And she talked to us about going for no's and how we shouldn't take it personal. It's not because somebody doesn't think good of us. They didn't think she was a bad cook. They just, for whatever reason, that moment at her house at the party, they didn't want dessert. They didn't think bad of her. It just wasn't the right time. So don't let fear hinder the possibilities in your Plexus business. We need to learn to overcome fear and realize how effective following up can be. There is balance in messaging, folks. So we want to be cautious, we want to be organized in our follow-up. Always when you follow up with somebody, it's a good idea to end that conversation. So like if somebody responds to you, I'm just not interested today, or no thanks, I don't need anything, or I don't think it's for me. When you respond to that, always respond and end your message with something like, that's fine, no problem, I will reach back out to you in a couple weeks. I'll tag back in with you in a couple weeks. What does this do? This removes any surprise factor when you follow up with them in 2 weeks. You've told them, you say, hey, in your time, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. But what I'm going to do is just check back with you in a couple of weeks. And then when you reach back out to them, they're not surprised by that contact, by that follow-up contact. And guess what? On one of those follow-ups, it's going to be right for them. They're going to be ready. So always end that conversation with, no problem, I'll follow up with you soon in a couple weeks, a month, or whatever you think is appropriate. But remember to make a note to do that. Don't forget, have a calendar. 2 weeks from that conversation, make a note. Today's the day to follow up with Susie. And then do that, because what does that do? That just builds integrity in you. And so when the time is right for them, you're going to be the one that they're looking for and reaching back to. This is something you want to think about. You guys, Plexus is our life. I think about Plexus all the time, every day. Not a day goes by that I don't think about who do I need to be talking to. I'm taking my products, I'm learning, I'm educating myself, watching videos. Every day, Plexus is my life. It's our life if we're building a business. But guess what? Our prospects and the people on our list that we're contacting, that is not their every breaking moment. They are not thinking about Plexus. And so I often say, you need to follow up with them. Just because they said, I'll be back in touch with you, and they don't get back in touch with you, it's very likely. It's not because they're not interested. It's highly likely that life has consumed them. Life is busy, and people that Plexus is not their livelihood, and that's not what they're thinking of, they just are busy. They mean well. They mean to place that order. They mean to follow up with you and hear, more about what you have to say, but they're busy. And so what happens is a lot of time when you follow up, they'll say, oh, thank you. I've just been so busy. I forgot. I meant to do it. And so that follow-up could be exactly what they need for you to remind them of your conversation and remind them of exactly what their intentions were. They've just gotten caught up with life. So our challenge to you today for day 6 is to follow up with people. If you need to have a follow-up Friday, or if Friday doesn't work for you, you have follow-up Monday, or whatever it is, set a day on your calendar every week that you're going to follow up with your customers. You're going to follow up with potentials that you've spoken to, that you've had conversations with, and be really organized. Even have a calendar, a daily calendar, where you're writing 3 or 4 names each day that you're going to tag back in with. If you see a video that makes you think of them, something that you read that you think, oh, that's what we talked about, I'm going to send that to them. I think they could connect with that. That can be something you send in a follow-up. I was reading this, I was watching this, and I thought of you, thought you would be interested and wanted to send it to you. It doesn't always have to be, are you ready to buy? Are you ready to make a sale? Are you ready to sign up? That's not really what you're doing in a follow-up necessarily. You are looking for ways to connect to them. And then when the time is right, you guys, if you will stay connected and you will follow up as you say, and you'll give them valuable information, when the time is right for them, you want to be the one that they think of so that you're going to be the one they reach out to. I've seen people join somebody else's team or purchase their products from somebody else who maybe was more connected to someone than somebody else was. So the person that stays the most connected and follows up on the regular basis and offers valuable information, they're who your prospect is going to think of when the time is right for them to accept and be ready to move forward with Plexus. So follow up is huge. People are watching you. They want to know, is this real? Are they going to stick it out? Are they going to be here in 6 months when I'm ready? So be really cautious in your follow-up efforts. And that's our challenge today. Get you a notebook, get you a calendar, and get really organized with your follow-up. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.